Hi Mighty Maker Stars. Today I'm going to show you how to make the tabletop puppet for our final Zoom puppet show. But today we're going to use simpler materials than clay. Some of you might be out of clay, or making the puppet out of clay might be a little bit too hard. So today what you're going to need is a pencil that's kind of sharp. You're going to need a glue stick, some string, a scissors. You're going to need some paper that's the color of your animal. And our strongest material is going to be our thin cardboard here. So this thin cardboard could be from a folder, it could be from a cereal box, or it could be from a notebook like this one. We don't want super thick cardboard because we want to be able to cut it with the scissors. So our first step is to take the paper that's going to be the main color for our animal and to glue it down to our thin cardboard. So we want to take our glue stick and make sure to draw lines that cover the whole surface, back and forth, back and forth. And once it's really covered, we can put down our paper and press hard and smooth it out to get rid of any wrinkles and make sure it's really attached super well. So I like to start by drawing my animal with a pencil. And remember, we're making an animal with joints, or a person with joints so it can move, like my elbow or my shoulder is a joint, a place where it can bend and flex. So to do that, we need to make our animal in two parts with holes where it's going to meet and connect in a joint. You could have an animal with three parts, but I'm going to do my shark again, which is relatively simple. And I like to start by sketching it out in pencil before going over it with marker so that I know that it's really good before I have done anything permanent. So I drew my shark in two parts. I made sure that there is a hole where I can connect the front and the back in a joint. And what I'm going to do now, and you should get a parent's help for this, is punch a hole. So you can just use a sharp pencil, it'll work fine. And you have to push really hard, but you can punch a hole in the places where the two parts of your animal are going to meet. So I've gone over my pencil line with marker, and now I'm going to start cutting it out. Rather than try to cut out your whole thing at once, which is really, really hard, I would cut out a smaller part like this. And once you've cut out your smaller part, then you can go in and cut all of the little details. And it'll be a lot easier. All right, now I've cut out my two pieces and I'm ready to add some string to connect them. So when you add your string, you want to cut off a piece that's longer than what you probably need because you can always make it shorter later. And we're going to put it through both holes. And then you're going to tie a knot, and it doesn't have to be fancy. This is the same knot that you use when you start to tie your shoe. You go over one string, under the other, just like that. And then you can just do the knot a second or even a third time. And if it's a little weak, I have a trick of just putting a little hot glue or normal glue on my knot, and that way it will never come undone. So now I have a shark that can really flex and move. And my next step is to add some sticks to control it. All right, so our next step is that we're going to glue our control sticks down. You could use a chopstick, you could use a pencil, popsicle stick, or barbecue skewer like this. If they're small and flat, it's a little bit better. And we can glue them down so that they're really overlapping with a piece of paper. And I'm going to glue them to both sides. You could also use just normal white glue for this and press down hard and give it some time to dry. Normal white glue would work very well. And then if you want to make it extra strong, you can add some tape. I'm using duct tape, and I'm going to tear it so that these thin strips will fit onto the back of my shark. And just like that. So now I have a shark that I can really control the movement of, and it can wag its tail to move around. For our Zoom puppet show, we're going to need a background that's really different from the color of our character so that Zoom can tell the difference between our background and our puppet. So I chose orange because orange is so different from blue. And I have these 4 sheets of orange paper, and I'm going to tape them together so that they aren't going to move too much. So now that my 4 pieces of construction paper are taped together into one big sheet, I can flip it over and I could tape it down to the table so it stays nice and still. If you want to make your Zoom puppet really, really amazing, you can do what real filmmakers do when they make movies, which is take some orange paper and use it to cover up these sticks. So when we do Zoom, they're going to disappear and it'll look like a real shark. Now, this isn't necessary, but if you want to do it, I think it's pretty fun. And it's not that hard to do. So I would just cut a thin strip of paper like this, and then I can glue it on top of my control stick just to make it disappear. And you can leave a space at the end to grab it with your finger and just glue this paper on with hot glue or normal white glue. So now I have orange control sticks that match my background. And now when I do a Zoom puppet show with my shark, everything is going to disappear except for the shark itself. And it'll look super duper real, not even like a puppet.